Welcome back to Shanghai. Live coverage of the Dota 2 Asia Championships continues with our upper bracket semi-final. Game number 3 between Liquid and LGD. Nicely poised at 1 apiece after 2 very similar drafts from Liquid. Are we going to see something different in Game 3? And that's the question we pose to our 3 experts.
Maybe instead of the Nine Stalker, we get something that provides a little bit more team fight from the support position, like Sand King or something.
Yeah, that's what Winter was saying before, wasn't it? More team fight.
Earth Spirit. Would be nice.
Sure.
A GHS Spirit. We like that.
Yeah, everyone likes that. That's
What's not to like?
That's the hero that he never played before, and after TI he spammed the hero.
Enemy mid laners, that's who don't like GH or
First
Spirit.
ban Underlord.
That was what you were telling me. I think Underlord should be first ban.
Yep. The taxi service has been removed.
I mean, it was really strong in game number 2 against Lifestealer, just pure right click, and Lone Druid as well.
5 seconds remaining. Team Liquid's turn to ban.
Maybe this time around, Liquid leave out the
Ooh.
Gyrocopter. Okay.
Oh,
Targeted bans.
You're not getting anything you like playing with from the first 2 games. The pesky Void has gone.
That's gonna change the playing field a lot.
Isn't it?
So they're gonna leave. What was the bet? The Terrorblade.
Okay, all right. Liquid
All right.
have stopped messing around. You're just not getting anything you wanted from the previous game. Sorry, it's all gone.
we might see a first phase Terrorblade here by LGD.
Yep.
Or Tiny, right? Like Tiny's really value for both of these teams.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know. I think LGD is happy to get the Terrorblade on Army.
I think that's fantastic set of ban. For no other reason than it says to me that Kuro says, okay, LGD are on the point of dropping down to the lower bracket. What do they pull out? Their best heroes, the things they value the most. Therefore, if these are the things they value the most, I'm going to get rid of them.
And they take the Tusk away from them as well.
It's effectively 4 bans against LGD in the first phase.
This is why it's so difficult to draft against Liquid. I love how it went from 0.3 seconds to just 1 second. The Underlord, Faceless Void, Gyro. No time for them to
5
adapt.
seconds remaining.
So I've been talking about the Terrorblade. So maybe Terrorblade +1
Disruptor or something. Just to
Which
keep it out of the
doctor?
hands of Liquid.
or a position for hero.
That is the other hero they like in the supports.
They seem to like to leave the position 5 hero for later though.
Yep, they
Like
do.
from
Yeah.
experience.
Yep. Through the group stages, they did it, and they did it in the first 2 games against Liquid as
Beastmaster.
well.
Bam. They love the first phase Beast as well. But they might consider going for
But
a
that was
support hero here.
that was with Chen though. I see them picking that with Chen a lot.
Oh
I
yeah,
guess if-
Chen is in the pool.
Liquid's turn to pick.
Oh,
So is the
it's a
Omni.
TB Omni.
Wow.
TB Omni.
Well, that's the risk they ran of removing what LGD like to play in the first 2 games.
Makes the Disruptor and Leshrac a lot less potent.
10 seconds
Razor
Picks
is
against
No, you-
still in the pool
You
against
think
the
about
Omni
this, yes, Razor's in the pool. Like generally when that's
5
the case,
seconds
teams will do Omni Knight plus Razor. Okay, so if you go Terrorblade plus Omni, yes, if the enemy picks Razor, it's going to be annoying for Omni, but Terrorblade is a good carry-to-carry matchup against the Razor.
True.
So it puts it in a situation where the enemy wants to, if they want to pick the Razor, it's still kind of not a win-win
LGD's turn
situation.
to ban.
And Omni
There it
just Omni hates the laning phase, but he can still be effective versus the Razor, right?
Yep. Does
So-
give LGD the opportunity of banning out the Rubik as well now in the second phase.
LGD is probably going to get rid of the Pugna in the second
10
stage.
seconds remaining.
I mean, Liquid loves to run it, and it's, in my opinion, one of the better counters
5
against
seconds
the
remaining.
Terrorblade. Has that Nether Ward, a lot of burst damage, the Cripify against his physical damage.
Team Liquid's turn
Opa.
to ban. LGD's turn to ban.
Well, okay then.
Lich. That was...
They have ran it.
I mean, that was against Lycan.
Yeah.
I mean, Terrorblade is like similar, like sieging heroes, you slow them down with the ice armor on the towers and the heroes.
Liquid ban the Lesh knowing that they can't really take it either.
10 seconds
So you're thinking about Terrorblade counters. Terrorblade counters are
5
Timber,
seconds remaining.
Tinker. Or you give him a bad lane like Brood. the thing with Terrorblade is like he's not that weak in the lane either. He's this like strong late
Team
gamer, mid
Liquid's
gamer, but
turn
his
to
laning
ban.
phase is not
Okay.
weak.
Druid's gone. If
Uh,
they want the Brood, they have to take this second phase, surely.
yeah, they have the fourth pick here, so
Yeah.
it means that LGD has only one pick to respond if it's a good Brood game. They are gonna
10
need to
seconds
pick
remaining.
to upset the balance of the lanes to make sure that the Terrorblade does not have a
5
good start.
seconds
Because
remaining.
Terrorblade and Omni, they are both heroes that are very strong in the lane
LGD's
given the right
turn to
matchup. So
pick.
Liquid has to be careful not to allow that. They do have the Razor against the Omni, so they have to figure out a lane to punish this, like a pressure lane to punish the Terrorblade.
And they've taken away the Viper.
Maybe a Kotal lane would be nice against the Terrorblade, and Kotal is also quite good against illusion
10
heroes like
seconds
Terrorblade.
remaining.
I could see Liquid doing a
5
Kotal dual
seconds
lane against
remaining.
TB.
Yeah, definitely. Terrorblade is one of the heroes that you want to keep pressure early on, even though he can easily come back, but still.
Beastmaster's in the pool, so if they want to do that kind of dueling, it's available for them, and Beastmaster would
Team
provide them
Liquid's turn to
a
pick.
BKB piercing disable against the repel. So LGD do go for the tiny. So probably that's probably their mid tiny unless they want to do a support tiny, which I'm not sure.
Very unusual for them.
Yeah, that's gonna be very
Yeah.
unusual for them.
10 seconds
It's also
remaining.
unusual to see them reveal 3 cores in the first 3 picks,
all
though.
3 cores, yeah.
Yeah.
By the
5
way,
seconds remaining.
You're okay with like DK here, right?
DK is okay, the hero. I'm not sure though. I think if I'm Liquid here, I want to wait one more pick. I want to
Sure.
because
Look at a support
I
here.
might be thinking of the Brood here that can come out and destroy the lane. So
I don't see this as a Brood game. Against Omni Knight, he can lane well against her and Tiny as well. Plus, they have one more pick if they pick it in the second
yeah,
stage.
that's true. Brood doesn't lane well against Tiny or Omni. He does lane well against Terrorblade, but generally you want to have multiple cores that don't lane well against you. Then you pick the hero. Then it makes
Nice.
it difficult for them to adjust.
Nice safe Rubik pick here.
They might get something like a Witch Doctor as a support for Team Liquid with the Repel against the Tiny, one of the better counters to him. Also the Bounce, if you pray hard enough before the game, against the Terrorblade Illusions as well.
I guess it depends what they want to prioritize in terms of countering, doesn't it?
Yeah, they could get like Ancient Apparition against an Omni Knight, but you can still sunder through.
I don't know. I'm still leaning towards the more strong lane pressure, like the Kotal kind of dual lanes against the TB. I think if against this kind of lineup, you don't do well in the laning phase, I don't know how you approach the mid game, because the mid game will be very strong with the Omni and TB. They have to do well in the early game. They need to pressure.
I really like the magic damage pressure heroes against the Terrorblade because I feel like too often any of the physical damage heroes just can't do enough against the Terrorblade. So I like the Cuddle idea.
Timber's okay too. We mentioned earlier, Timber or Tinker. Timber is good against TB.
LGD's turn
They have 2
to
strength
pick.
heroes. Phantom Lancer. The hero is pretty strong in the lane. I give them that. But later, it's not like a very good core-to-core matchup
10
against
seconds
Terrorblade.
remaining.
Yeah, reflections are a problem later, but
Now he
5
has Phantom
seconds
Rush just to
remaining.
get on top of you,
Team
Yeah.
especially with
Liquid's
the
turn to
range
pick.
extend.
But
LGD's
you can't man
turn
fight like
to
a TB.
do you think they're going to do the old Cuddle
Phantom
Lancer
Lancer.
lane? Yeah.
Yeah, they could.
Maybe Kotal Razor to pressure the TB. I could see that happening. That lane is pretty strong.
10
I think it's still
seconds
pretty open
remaining.
what they can do. Just
Yeah.
depends on the matchup. Razor can go mid. PR can
Yeah,
go
you can
mid.
also
seconds
put it mid
remaining.
against the Tiny.
Razor can go safe lane. Razor can go off lane. It all depends. But they do have to pick here. LGD has the overall last pick. Their lineup kind of lacks a bit of stuns initiation because right now they were only the snowball.
They have Tusk.
Yeah, that's the only stun. Maybe, but yeah, then it's Liquid, you know. Sometimes they're just going to play without stuns or very little stuns.
Team Liquid's
much
turn to
game
ban.
one.
Yep, so they ban out the Beastmaster, worrying about the potential pressure lane, the Kotal Beastmaster lane.
Yeah, I would see Team Liquid either going for a reliable stun in MC's hero, or just go for more tower
10
damage.
seconds remaining.
Maybe something like a Pagna that I already mentioned that it's really good against the Terrorblade.
5
And you guys
seconds
mentioned Dragon Knight
remaining.
as well, if they want
Yeah.
extra stuns, tower push, pressure. No, it's kind of open. It's too open what they can go for here. There's too many things that they can actually pick. But what do they want to
Team
do here? That
Liquid's
is
turn to pick.
the main question to
Yep.
be asked.
What rounds this out?
Preferably a hero with a stun, but I could see it still working without a stun. Having maybe they're gonna do like the Razor Kotal dual lane, like I mentioned, to pressure the TB and just go
10
for another
seconds
core.
remaining.
Yes, Kay
And then
still
they
here.
could do some sort of safe
5
lane
seconds
against the
remaining.
Omni.
Yeah, PL, safe lane
The-
Razor, then PL will be mid.
If it wasn't for
Oh.
Tiny, I would say Enchantress.
LGD's turn to pick.
Oh, wow, okay.
So that's the balance hero, like gives them the stun, the pressure.
I feel like that makes
Tower
your
push.
lineup the most well-rounded, right?
Yeah. And the hero is good.
It's lane shove. It's a nice tanky frontliner for you to be able to have.
And you still have no idea how are they gonna lane
No,
this.
I was going to ask exactly the question I was about to ask you. Where were they going to put those? We'll find out in about 5 seconds if LGD decide to use nothing but their normal time. Make that 55 seconds.
What do they need? Maybe a Legion Commander.
Oof.
Elder Titan, they need a support. Elder Titan's okay. There's Earth Spirit, but I don't think they will pick Earth Spirit for FY. He hasn't played it in a while. So Sand King's still available.
Yep,
Yeah,
Sand King's still
Sand King
there. So
sounds
is
good.
Bane. Is it? Yeah, Bane's still there as well.
Or
You
they
want some nice AoE damage and control from your support.
Chen's still in the pool.
Mm.
I don't know. I kind of think like Sand King and Elder Titan are the two better ones that come off my mind right now. Because you kind of want a hero that can look for the Keeper of the Light. Okay,
Ooh,
Bounty can
okay.
go hunt the Keeper of the Light. But Bounty Hunter is not great against PL. Bounty Hunter is not great against
Tusk.
Dragon Knight. And not great against Tusk.
So they're going to do a
Yes.
DK off lane here. Looks like.
So his entire focus on the laning phase is going to be harassing the Coddle, I guess, because he has
Yeah.
no other choice on any of the other heroes.
Yeah, but it's going to be difficult though. Like,
Hmm.
it might not even be a DK off lane. DK can be mid and they can move any of the heroes down bottom. So I'm really, really super unsure about this Bounty Hunter pick. I feel like he's not going to be able to accomplish much in the early game. So I'm going to go with Liquid closing this series out 2-1.
It's,
Okay.
it's going to be based because he's got Omni Knight and Tiny to back him up. Feels like a single core Terrorblade. I'm not sure how that matches up for this kind of light 3-core lineup for Liquid. I feel kind of good about that, so I'll say Liquid as well.
Yeah, I'll go with Liquid again.
Oh, dear.
It feels like their tri-core pretty much always works, and with the bounty, it doesn't scale that much. It doesn't contribute anything to the team fight as well.
Remember what happened last game?
Yeah,
guys?
no, I do remember what happened last game, and I also remember what happens when these three all agree. It rarely ends well. Let's hope it isn't a curse and Liquid can move on. But they've got a big job ahead of them. LGD versus Liquid, game 3. Let's return to the arena.
You know, the beautiful thing is the analysts can predict who's going to win, but we really don't give a crap. What we want to see is fantastic Dota. Whoever wins will deserve it, LGD or Liquid, and they'll deserve that winner's bracket final position if they can claim the victory. Kyle, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about the draft as we're seeing this Bounty Hunter 5th pick pushing the Tiny, Omni Knight, and Terrorblade, all 3 first picks of LGD into cores?
Two big things from last game. LGD learned. FY went off, one of the most impressive Tusk performances I've ever seen, but they learned that they're going to chrono the Lifestealer now and kill him every fight. And I think going into this game, they haven't necessarily figured Liquid out, but I like their draft. I think every player is on a comfort hero, and I think Liquid has like the harder game to win because they need to play around specific timings and be the team that initiates, whereas LGD, you have Bounty Hunter Omni Knight with Ame Terrorblade. the game plays itself if you can just get that one fight with a couple tracks.
This is starting already. Like the panel was mentioning that Xnova would just be hunting GH and being a real pain in the butt. He got dusted up, he stole the bounty rune, and he's just wasting the time of the Keeper of the Light. They need to do this. Like GH, we saw him time and time again at the Internationals perform perfectly around this trifecta of a camp. Mass stacks allowing for the farm to come in later, and he can either share this or take it all himself. Turning into an Aghanim Scepter, turning into a split push game. It's just exactly what LGD want. That's why I want to watch this Bounty Hunter very closely. Courier snipes and the nuisance he is to the Keeper of the Light.
And I think that maybe is just, we've seen a lot, Tiny DK mid a couple times. I think maybe is a far better player than others I've seen in this matchup, and he should do at least 60-40, maybe even 70-30 against this DK. As the panel said, though, it's all about what does this Bounty Hunter do in the game. And I think following Coddle is going to be the move, but will they be able to kill him?
Yep. Kill him or even just annoy him more than anything else. But Keeper of the Light has moved up towards the top lane now. So they've turned this into a defensive tri lane against a roaming bounty on that top lane. So the Observer was already down for LGD, so they see behind the tier 1 tower, mainly at the pull camp is the main thing they're watching. So they understand when they have the capability of diving, when Team Liquid are looking for that little bit of extra farm of their own.
It's so hard for Liquid in this game. They're in that similar position where they need these core items to really make moves happen, but they don't have like the same survivability as Viper Tide with a Razor DK, especially when you're up against the mass amounts of catch and control from LGD. And I think LGD has an advantage in every lane looking at it. Omni versus PL's Omni favored. I think they have the mid matchup too. And up top, Razor doesn't want to play in a trade lane against TB. He wants to be chasing this guy down and maybe threatening kills.
Yep. He wants to be that aggressor. You're seeing Matumba already trying to get it up in his face, but it's not really going to work unless Kuro can shard block him in. I don't know if this really happens until Kuro hits level 2, when he's able to have that snowball available. Right now it's just shards, but they need the controlling factor from the very beginning. They need the snowball.
We saw LGD utilize their hard camp a lot when they were playing this Coddle, but Xnova's done a great job. He stood in the easy camp twice, and he's just waiting around this hard camp to ensure that Liquid can't get the pulls off. And that's what allows them to now free farm a Terror Blade, super high base damage and a Quelling Blade. He won't miss any last hits under tower, and there's a Razor in his lane, so you're totally fine trading.
And as long as the other lanes remain okay, like balance-wise as far as CS, like, yeah, you're still going to be okay with this too.
And there you got to rotate. There they go. They're going to put the Razor against Omni, but it's a far more favorable matchup for Omni in his own safe lane. Near impossible were he in the off lane.
But they needed to do something. Like, Miracle gets purified, he gets pushed back out. They tried to find the kill into Xnova. They scanned and it didn't come up positive.
He once again stands in the camp too.
Yep. So no camp for you. Team Liquid. He's got a little bit more spam up on this top lane now. Like, Miracle can start spamming out the lance a little bit more. Here comes your Shard Block. Chalice, nowhere to really run to. He's got Purification in 2 seconds' time. They'll have not enough damage to get the kill. So Purification spills a little bit more back, but it will not stop Miracle from claiming the first blood on that top lane. And this is when LGD were doing their own rotations. They brought the bounty towards the mid, but they brought Disruptor and the Terror Blade to the bottom. A glimpse back. Matumba's got nowhere to go. The Illumina spam is nice. FY, one more attack from GH. He'll reach him. Kuro had to TP down as well, so we've got a heavy lane rotation from Team Liquid. They shard block. That Illumina needed to connect to have any chance of killing off Armor here, which they don't. So back up to the tier 1 tower for Liquid.
It was a big kill on the Omni Knight, though, because they did catch him after TPing. It's always painful as an offlaner when that happens, and now he'll fall significantly behind the PL because Miracle's been able to deny 2, almost 3 full waves before he returns.
Nothing like a nice double rune for a bounty hunter. Arcane, double damage, then picks up a bounty rune. This guy is drinking every beverage on the shelf.
And the only issue, again, is this bounty hunter, but I think whenever you have a bounty and the lanes are just going okay, especially when you have a Terrorblade Omni Knight, I cannot stress enough just how powerful LGD's teamfight is going to be in the late game.
They're going to fight bottom. Yuri put on the reflection. Matumba takes so much damage with that DD Bounty Hunter. He was not ready for this. The defensive snowball protects them at least for half a second, but half a second is not long enough. Kuro making his run back. The Illuminate spam. Xnova, he's going to be low. GH can look for again the revenge, but into the invis. And Ghost Walk so quick and away.
The real story. Matumba, man, 8-2 CS. We've seen this on Vipers before in a couple of EG games and earlier in the tournament. Viper Rays are very similar. When you fall behind, your hero does not accomplish the same as when you're not a hero anymore. You don't do your job, which is to dominate the laning phase and translate that advantage into mid-game. When you're behind, you can't recover. You don't have wave clear like that.
Team Liquid need to steady the ship. At the moment, LGD, they're very happy to accept the status quo. And they will keep it this way as long as they can, as long as they can find some levels. And actually, do LGD change the tempo at all? Like, do they try and preempt against Team Liquid? Like, is it worthwhile getting aggressive, having that tiny rotate? You are a mid-tiny. Oh, man, Miracle. Careful with the purification. They're going to steal a lot of damage, however, from Chalice. And with the snowball control, he has nowhere to go bar down. But yeah, so when you run that mid, like if we pay attention to the book of Sing Sing, goodbye GH, you're going to get glimpsed and then killed. Yeah, you're not juking this.
Where is he?
But GH ran down west and still dead. Like they had the range attack. But yeah, do you want to see that combination, like the avalanche toss maxed out, early blink dagger onto the tiny, and then gank? But who does he gank?
It's really just about controlling the tempo and pressuring the objectives. You can only ever really kill the coddle, but it's all about the tossbacks. Whenever you're playing with a disruptor and a TB, any tossback or even just set up into a glimpse, when you it's the circle, you know, like we see enough WWE wrestling matches. Terrorblade is Andre the Giant. Anybody that enters the ring with him, he's gonna take down.
As you thought so highly of Andre. Chalice is on the run through the tree lines. Matumba still stealing a heavy amount of damage. The Plasma Field clips him on the edge. Miracle also combining with the Lance to get that kill. And they can pump that damage into the Tier 1 tower now once fortification wears off.
It's so good from Liquid because they realize, you know, Razor, he can't do anything. So let's just ditch GH bottom. He'll run around in circles really fast, pressure this lane. Matumba Man becomes a support, but it's a hell of a lot more useful than him just being bottom
Does he actually get out of this? Like he's just sitting there, looks calm as a cucumber. Just walks away. It's like, yeah, I'm making space for you guys to probably die. Oh, wait, I don't have to die? Isn't this a nice thing? Oh, wait, no, that's right. I have to die. It's not even all damage. Just Bounty Hunter doing a lot of work.
Yep. I mean, it's a bad situation for Liquid, but they have salvaged it a little bit. It's just a question of how do they actually get Matumba Man into the game. You probably want to leave him here up against Omni Knight for a bit. It's just so difficult for him because he's under-leveled.
Keeping the net worth close.
Yeah, and they are. They're going to put PL bottom with the coddle. They know there's no meta, so they should be strong enough to contest this lane now. Mid lane, though, they might look to set up on DK here. Here's the toss back.
It's the wraparound, and Somnus, he gets the wrong creep. But still, X-Nova's going to be in the neighborhood, into Dragon form. Look at that extra help. Kuro is on the way. He has defensive snowball available, but they just do it to be aggressive. Kill off the Bounty Hunter and create that space. It's a 3-man commitment from LGD, all stalled up by the 2 men of Liquid.
I would have liked to see him stun first to guarantee the toss back. I'm pretty sure that's a kill if he lands the toss. I mean, I also don't like that they continue to go for it after they don't execute. It's just those common things where your supports are here, you want to make the play, but once you don't execute, it's hard to stop.
Miracle is just creep skipping out this bottom lane. He may have a little bit of trouble as Chalice has now come in. Good doppelganger available for Miracle, so we still have that concern about the glimpse from FY, not when he's got that many of himself ready to fight. And Chalice, well, yeah, having too many issues dealing with the illusions. Kuro, low on line for the mid. Mind Control going to get a glimpse back in. And Kuro, does he try and help him? That's a double damage Dragon. Somnus has to Fairy Fire. He knows the corrosive tick will actually hurt him. The shards are a little bit too far off. Miracle, remember that doppelganger is still available. X-Nova has to jump in, Viz. Got double sentries on this lane, so he knows he's safe.
It's all okay for LGD. They've done a very good job of continuing to rotate. Don't leave Omni Knight alone against the Razor and continue putting Terrorblade in his lane. They want Ame to have a good game, and they play for the mid to late game transition. They will have track. They have a lot of big spells, and while usually you can play around the GA in the meta, they're fine just getting 2 or 3 kills off that as the game gets into the mid game because they'll have the track gold.
A lot of rotations coming to the bottom lane. Mind Control and Kuro both being scouted out by X-Nova. Walks right over the top of him, but this is the warning sign. Chalice just wants to get the hell out of here. The courier being fortified, flying over the tree line. Somnus looking for an engagement on Matumban, can wrap around the back. Needs the toss back to happen, so there's your avalanche, there's your toss back in. Starts the static link and then just starts TPing out. Even better for Matumban, realizing that is not a fight he wants to take. And they're getting a trade-off anyway, the tier 1 tower on bot.
Really well played by Matumba. It's hard. There's always this, are they going to defend or do they mirror and try to kill me? You're never really sure, and you don't want to leave a lane too early, but he ends up going and ditching at just the right moment. Forces the meta as well, so really key. Now top lane, they might pressure this TB a bit.
Going for GH in mid, they glimpse him down and pull him back, and Somnus is just a walk in, beat him down with his stick. And GH just trying to find a little bit of space for farm. It's actually one of the very few times we haven't been watching GH doing like multiple stacks with his Keeper of the Light. Obviously that's dangerous when you've got a Bounty Hunter on the field, but it slows down the progression that is normally very fast for GH's Coddle.
I really like Maybe's build. Always should be maxing toss on Tiny in my opinion. Gets the extra point in tree grab just to help him in lane, and then he'll start maxing stun.
Think Sing would approve.
Yeah. It also allows you to max your QW and have 2 points in your ultimate by level 12.
Kuro getting Thunder Strike up. Somnus is on the way, and Kuro's surrounded by 4 heroes. He needs to snowball defensively. He actually goes up to the wave, which is nearby, but a glimpse. That's a long one back, but it's still locked inside of a wall. Kuro can't shard push himself out.
They give the kill to the Tiny. He's now 100 gold from his blink, and that's where he can really start to make plays. He will be one-shotting this Coddle for quite some time.
This is when the distance game needs to be played by Team Liquid. The only way that's going to happen is if their vision, their established vision, is going to be really, really good. And as the 2 observer wards, which are down from LGD, watching both near that mid tier 1 tower, they see any kind of movement through the mid, and then one up closer towards that bounty rune on the Dyer's jungle. It's just really good information across the board for LGD. If Liquid move, they'll hear about it early.
Big thing to note, there's a drums on the Dragon Knight, but a blink on the Tiny. So the initiation factor for LGD is going to be far stronger for quite some time, and they have to stall the game. But we've seen a lot of times where this GH Coddle into the late game, plus a Miracle PL, it can do some serious work.
Oh, initiation out on Ame. He's got the stun. They have to keep him stunned. The wings were expanding. He was putting the mouth to the lips just to suck out the life, but it doesn't happen. Not enough time.
It's a false sense of security because that ward
Miracle
behind the tower was just placed.
Cracked. One shot, just can't get out of the wall. Even if he did, you had the Bounty Hunter waiting to grab him. A 1-for-1 trade-off, but the tier 1 tower is also the advantage for Liquid.
Diame drawing a circle around that area. He thinks they might have vision, but in reality, they just TP'd into the tower, avoiding the ward behind, in between tier 1 and tier 2 top, and the one in the jungle below that near the shrine. So they just end up killing him for free, but they do get the trade on Miracle. Meta popped mid. This is the big fight for this mid game. I don't know if Liquid can take this.
Well, DK
form fading.
Mind Control's already being watched by X-Nova. You see Somnus moving up. They're going to glimpse him down. The wall, the storm, it's perfect. Even the reflection. They just wanted to delete the DK, and that means there's no more fight to be had. Kuro is on the run. He's going to use that Arcane Rune to perfection, snowballing down into the wave. He's still got shards available. He'll want to block up the tree line if he can hit it right, and he can hit it perfectly. Kuro just needs a safe place to TP out before the Tiny can do this. Avalanche, swing, he's lost his tree, but the Shuriken toss is there to finish the job. But they still haven't taken that mid tower. But I suppose DK doesn't have Dragon Form anymore.
If only the Tome on Courier for the bounty had been used a minute ago, that would have been 2 track kills, maybe even 3.
On mid lane, Chalice, oh, gonna just combo perfectly. For a moment, I actually thought it was Liquid who would have the advantage fighting with 3 heroes under the tower, but you have to keep in mind that burst combination that the Tiny can do himself, let alone with the combination of Purification.
And the last pick bounty is just so key here. The counter to Coddle, as far as supports go, is always the Invis heroes.
Lost him.
Yep. Maybe also is just playing incredibly well. I liked his item decision, his skill build, and he's really allowing his team to play with this tempo while buying space and time for Ame to get ahead of the game and, you know, move into the late game, but he's in trouble.
Yep, Terrorblade, Dragon Tail stun up with a Breathe Fire. Remember, you've still got that Sunder available, so we can just turn and fight this. X-Nova wants the fight to happen. That's more track kills.
Yep. They're just in such a good position in the game now, LGD. They just need a couple of fights, some track kills, and it's going to be Roche. Every game nowadays seems to come down to Roche.
Kind of funny, though, with all of this going on, the net worth is still not even over 1,000 gold in favor of LGD. They're up by 5 kills, but this PL still getting so much. So another kill going to come in on Matumberman. He's tanking through as much of it as he possibly can, just walking the circle of the storm.
Going to be about the timings. LGD will hit theirs first once they're strong enough with the TB. But once Coddle, Ags, plus that next item, a 4 or 5 slotted PL, they start wreaking so much havoc in LGD's lines, and then the long duration team fights for Liquid, no one ends up dying. But LGD is going to hit that timing first. Liquid needs to stall until much later into the game where their point-blank initiation advantage and the Razor just running at the Tiny, running at the Omni, kind of carry them through a fight because Miracle will be just, again, causing chaos everywhere.
They need so much space to create for this. Like,
Yeah.
You're talking about so many items on so many big heroes. Like even the 4 position, you're talking about affording a full Aghanim Scepter. GH needs space to do this. And LGD know that too. That's why they've got this almost like this perfect diagonal line that just goes down from the mid tower, like between the tier 1, tier 2 tower, like straight down anywhere inside of the big Team Liquid jungle is just LGD controlled or LGD informed.
Yeah, we brought up ward duos yesterday. This is a ward trio. Liquid actually cannot cross into the top side of their jungle without LGD knowing about it. And it makes it so easy for them to continue to just shove lanes and pressure Liquid.
Oh, double gang up. The Avalanche was a little bit further away. They're going to glimpse Miracle back down, but then Lances will fly forward. FY protected by the wall.
So smart. They don't have the Disruptor ultimate. Or rather, they don't have the damage to secure that kill before support's going to come in. And they just
bait the fight so they can rotate towards the top lane with a Tiny. There's no dire vision here. It's very defensive. It's back near the rune, and thanks to the back off on top, Somers just takes the farm.
Nova still just tracking GH's Coddle. Terrorblade continuing to farm. Actually, Ame popping a meta to farm. Unless, he didn't use that down bottom, right?
I think he was ready to, but no, I know it's certain. Mind control, in trouble, the storm, right, perfect control, and the TP, it will not work. Glimpse was being held for that exact reason. So mind control and Kuro will fall in the mid, and with the rest of that metamorphosis, they can push into the tier 1 tower, which has been pestering them for so long. Liquid have already claimed 2 tier 1 towers. It's about time LGD did one of their own.
It's just, they're too strong right now. This is their timing. And the Disruptor, we saw it last game where he just lands so many bonus kills. Sorry, that was the first game. And it allows you to punish Liquid's style of split pushing and trying to play everywhere because you can't anymore. And it's also a great hero to counter the Tusk, which is part of the reason they take it forth. I'm actually surprised they got that far because you remove the ability to snowball save.
Oh, but Summerman's in trouble once more. Steals a little bit of damage, gets glimpsed back towards the tower. There were 3 heroes that were looking to fight him, and Team Liquid, once again, the second LGD come anywhere near their tier 1 side lane towers, they just run at you. Avalanche toss. Kuro, snowball, it can stun 3, but it won't matter when you've only got 5% of your life. Miracle, Dragon lances forward. Has he got enough damage to kill off FY? No, he doesn't. Oh, wait, he doppelganged it out. No glimpse back for him. He just waited it perfectly. Comes into the fight. The Dragon Tail stun. They just have to hold Charles in position, allowing Miracle. And one more lance. The Avalanche will deny that. They toss him further down. Back. It's all about saving Private Omni. Miracle. He's going to go inside the base with the Phantom Rush. He'll take it. And they're still charging through. There's tier 2 towers up and they're almost in the tier 4s. A 3-man wall and storm. Liquid, how deep are you? Too deep, too deep, too deep. Run away. They've already lost the Razor. Now Miracle under the tier 2 tower. No doppelganger available. Nova Shuriken toss with the track. Miracle is so low. He's on a B-stick of life. Nova needs one more attack. Miracle will doppelganger. At least get rid of the track, so he can get away to safety, get back towards the shrine, which he will pop instantly. I am really surprised Liquid only lost the Razor for that dive.
I mean, Ame was bottom the entire time. The entire time he kills the tier 1 and has just been accelerating hard. His team buying him so much space, and that would have been way worse for Liquid, but X-Nova was actually in the top lane hunting the courier. Liquid with the presence of mind to actually keep it AFK above their tier 1 for nearly a full 2 minutes. Otherwise, he's there to land some tracks as they dive past the tier 2 all the way to tier 3, but you can't blame them. They feel pressure to get these kills because they know the TB is breathing down their necks.
Yeah, it's almost like they just had this directive from Captain Kuro. You just dive. The second we see something we can kill, we just keep going for it. Then they do. They've showcased they've had the strength with both Razor and DK to go heavily underneath towers. They've got the survivability they require, and the only thing they're lacking is that heavy damage, which you just need to have the static link from. X-Nova, potentially, yeah, he breaks the smoke, but does it up, shot it up. Nova, no way to survive through this. So a kill is a kill. This one will go the way of Miracle.
You can see the downside of Liquid's item build this game. They skipped Blink on Dragon Knight, they went SNY on PL before Defusal, and so their chase power is not nearly what it should be, and that's why they're forced to chase all the way into the base before they can actually catch that Omni Knight.
But it does seem like a good compromise if they can just stand strong.
Exactly.
Because then you can have the SNY, then you can have Defusal on the PL. This is going to cause a lot of problems for the LGD backline. We've seen the sustain coming from all the abilities, but if Omni Knight goes bone dry in mana, they don't have much to work with. Even Tiny's combination, it costs him 240 out of a 530 pool. There's not a lot up his sleeve unless he's got one charges to get this back again. And then you've got the DK, a BKB style of build. He can really stand his ground. Disruptor is no longer the big influence, which it's already been. But they're watching. Kuro is stalked. He is dead. Very, very simple.
Issue they're going to have is that Ame going full out, I'm farming to carry this game as a style. SNY into Butterfly. They're going to get Aegis at some point. He buys his own BKB or MKB. Oh, they got him.
GH needed to force up and then TP. Somnus caught him in the edge of the tree line. So GH caught out and brought down. He can't afford to have that happen when he needs the time to finish farming up that Academ Scepter. That's what's going to enable players like Miracle to do this split push they desperately require. Courier. No. Yes. Huge items. Just over 2 grand on that Courier.
Had to be a misclick. There was no one in the area to deliver an item to.
Yep. Unless it was there waiting to shop. I don't think anyone's trying to buy anything from the side shop just yet. Wrap around from Somnus next Nova. They're coming in behind. They're going to find a weakened mind control. As long as Bounty Hunter, well, where is the Vicious? It's actually Disruptor moving up for it. Ame running up the mid lane. Almost feels like bait. He swaps with the Illusion of Miracle. So Miracle's still strong enough to fight this one, but when the Storm is down, maybe not so much. 2 heroes gone from Liquid. They clinch back Kuro. 3 heroes down. And that is a Metamorph that's ready to keep pushing. They're actually going to the bottom tier 2 tower to push that instead.
Yep. And you can see the strength of their lineup. You can't fight into LGD, and they're the ones with the... They always have the initiative. And the first mover advantage in Dota is very much a real thing, especially when you have a Terrorblade optimizing his item build for just raw damage output. And I
here
forgot,
they come.
He doesn't need a BKB. Toby, he has an Omni Knight on his team.
Blinding Light's going to slow him down. The Illuminate won't do much work. Nice 4-star from GH, but Somnus tossing Ame after him. Into the tier 4 towers you go. Then back to the bottom lane. LGD, this is quick, this is fast, this is great. 23 minutes in, they're looking to take that bottom racks. Team Liquid, can they mount a defense?
I don't think so, Toby.
The tracks are continuing. If they don't get a good defense here, there's going to be so much money to LGD and the toss back. But Tubberman in no man's land. Miracle wants to run in too. He has to doppelganger himself back out. Mind Control commits the Dragon Form. LGD, they can take the racks and they can bail out unless they want to fight. Razor buys back. It's Liquid who want to fight. Keeping Somnus controlled with the stuns. It's hard when it's a Tiny, not to mention an Avalanche on 3. Somnus just completes his TP out underneath Liquid, allowing Ame to just wreck face. Liquid's face. Mind Control trying to escape back out this one, but he will have no luck. Flips back in. 2 heroes down. That may be the ball game if Team Liquid feel that they're 2 cores down. It could actually come here second lane of ranks. The tier 2 towers are still up, but Liquid, they're crippled right now.
They have so much gold to spend now. Ame's net worth near 14,000 at 23 minutes into the game. Their advantage 16K. And you can see they had a plan going into this game and maybe has just gone off. He's 8-0-10. Solely responsible for this tempo, playing so well around his supports. And Ame just farming. They get to the point where, look at the damage output. Liquid does not have the items or the survivability to do a damn thing to the LGD 5-man.
Yeah, and it keeps escalating more and more quickly. We're looking at a 17K advantage You finish a full Spirit Vessel as well onto the Bounty Hunter. All these track golds, all this track kills just adding up and up and up, and it's a very sharp rise. And the vision, they glimpse back Kuro, keeping the control up. Kuro has to shut, but it won't work when he's walled in. Nowhere to go. The Spirit Vessel will finish the job, combining with FY's Thunder Strike. And they want more. Arme jumping in. They've slowed down Mind Control with the reflect. They're looking to toss him back away, but Matoman, now he gets in the front lines. They're keeping him up, or at least keeping him down with the damage removal.
That is a blessing in disguise because they get the meta popped a little early, so they might not have it for the full duration of a team fight, but LGD is still strong enough to certainly pressure this tier 2 and easily the tier 3, but will they go all the way for the racks? They don't have to, but I think they can, Toby.
They can try it. You got that diffuser blade on the PL, so at least they can burn off the back line, Team Liquid. So LGD sustain in this push isn't so great, but as we've seen throughout most of these team fights, sustain hasn't been a problem, right? LGD just jump in, they get the initial burst damage, and then it's just one target after one target after one target that Liquid are unwillingly presenting them. It's the punishment of Glimpse. It's the punishment of the aggression of a Tiny.
I think they looked, Ame like ran all the way to top. I think they're gonna back off here. You kill tier 2 top, you kill Shrine, you wait for next meta, and then you go look to end the game.
You got some advantage now for Team Liquid. Aghanim Scepter has been completed on the Keeper of the Light. And target, smoke is breaking. Who brought detection? Anyone bring detention? Oh! They dropped the Sentry, but it's on top of the Shrine, and already Xnova is left. And leaves a parting gift. It's a track on Miracle. It's a doppelganger it off. A blink dagger for a Terrorblade. Hello.
This Bounty Hunter last pick, they go all 3 cores in their first 3, but saving the support seems to work out so well for LGD because this bounty is the X factor. Part of the reason the mid-game advantage is so high is because if he's not there getting tracks, he's tracking a hero through the enemy woods and just providing information.
The damage that's going to start to arrive is ridiculous. Like, it's not just the Terrorblade is now going to be the frontliner. You've now got yourself a Daedalus, a full Daedalus on the Tiny with his SMY and Blink Dagger. This crit level is so high.
Oh, and there's a blink on the Terrorblade. He's going to get repelled, and they're just going to go off. And if you look at the heroes of Liquid, who's actually going to survive this? Like, all you need to do as LGD is wait for nighttime and go end the game. And that Aegis is going to time out perfectly. They'll have a full minute and 30 seconds with Aegis and nighttime.
The only way Liquid really survive this is in the lower bracket best of 1. That's kind of what they're forced into. That's where the loser of this game goes to play up against TNC. Miracle is now target Uno. Jump in. There's your hit. Miracle locked in the wall. He can doppelganger. A little bit more space. He tried to bait it out with the illusion. And, well, they can clean it up so quickly that the baiting of the illusion doesn't even work. Team Liquid want to get some kind of revenge. Arme in the mid was the target, but now it's Kuro who is in trouble. He's snowballed in. The tracks are doing their work. The Spirit Vessels are crippling, and Liquid back under their tier 3 tower with 2 heroes dead. You know where LGD want to go. They're going mid.
Oh, yeah.
And they have Metamorphosis already burnt. They're coming. And a blink straight in. Reflection, Somnus with his jump. The glimpse back, it never even completed. But Toberman evaporated underneath his own tier 4 tower. This is the game. There's no way Liquid can repel firepower of this magnitude of LGD. They're going to just rip apart this mid-racks. And Liquid, what do you even do to stop it? You can live on a hope, a prayer for Keeper of the Light. Another great initiation in from Somnus. GH tracked up. He has to go all the way back home for the Shuriken toss. It bounces after him and kills him all the way back past the fountain. There it is. GG, well played. LGD will take the winner's bracket. Final position. They will play against the winner of Beneski and VG Gaming, and Liquid now have the hard road, the best of 1 against TNC.
And they also secure, at the very minimum, 3rd place at this major. 725 qualifying points, if I'm not mistaken. My math might be off, but 675. And that's enough, I think, to put them into contention for a TI invite.
Yeah.
It's close.
It's close for LGD. LGD have a long run. There are 471 points total. They have to topple Na'Vi, who are 1 point shy of 1,200. If you claim 2nd position here, you're able to do such a thing, and they're in a very good position to do that now.
And the way they're playing, they look like one of the best teams in this tournament. An excellent draft, and just executed to perfection. Every player on obviously a comfort hero, and the way they moved around the map, not many teams can punish Liquid's greed as effectively as LGD did,
Yep.
and they demonstrated why many people before this event saw them as the best team in China, and they proved why they deserve that moniker.
And China needed a hope after day one of the playoffs. I was worried there wouldn't be actually any teams in the competition for China. There were 3 eliminated on day number 1. We lost the Americans earlier today. Condolences. And now LGD, they're carrying the torch. They're carrying it strong. Cannot wait for even more Dota. Cannot wait for the next semi-final to happen too. But I can't wait for the panel.
Oh, you're too kind, Toby. Thank you very much, Toby1 and Kyle, of course, there with the commentary in our opening semi-final of the upper bracket. China, number 1. At least that's what the crowd are chanting right now, and they have every right to do so because LGD, as Kyle rightly pointed out, have secured themselves a top 3 position here in the China Major, and that means DPC points for sure. We're going to discuss that, break down the third game with our panel once more. Lacoste, Winter, and Capel back with us. It's a great victory, Lacoste, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, LGD was looking hot. Their decision-making was on point. And as we already discussed during the game, this is the first time that we see Team Liquid tilted. It feels like one bad decision after another one.
Yeah, a lot of power, a lot of firepower in this game, Cap, as well.
Yeah, certainly LGD came out swinging, and Liquid looked a little bit miffed at the start. I don't think they really got the start that they wanted to, and then they just kind of were like, okay. I think this is one of the greatest examples of tilts, run at you, something.
Time to go for those tier 4s, huh?
Yeah, this was something else. Just all the way behind the tier 3s. Just go next, hit the tiny 2, and then, as you would well expect, they do get punished for this play.
I mean, nice to see them being a little over the top, Winter. Quite happy to, just play in against Liquid.
If you're playing support and all your 3 cores are chasing up to the tier 4, you're not going to be happy. You're definitely going to be upset about things. And I think Carl mentioned about it during the cast as well. Like they didn't buy a blink. They didn't go for early diffusal on the PL. Otherwise, that chase would have never ever happened. They would have just killed. They would just kill the Omni a lot earlier. But as a result, they knew that they had to do something at that point of the game because TB, he was getting out of control. So hence the tilt came.
And all this starts from a strong laning phase, which comes down to the opening laning situation where they managed to dodge the Omni against the Razor, got the matchup against the Phantom Lancer instead, and Liquid were always trying to catch that matchup and never really got it.
What a great performance, though, from LGD, Lacoste, especially as they go a game down against a very typical kind of Liquid draft. And it would have been very easy to have just then gone, well, okay, these guys are just too good and we can't beat them.
Yeah,
but they didn't. They dug in.
Most of the teams wouldn't adjust, but they stayed calm and had good picks in both of these games. Also, what you mentioned, and Kyle as well, the lack of stuns on side of Liquid actually backfired to them. Also, gotta give credit to Tiny Man. He was all over the place.
Maybe key to success for a lot of LGD oftentimes is I know Jack will probably come in next panel singing the praises of Ame, but I'm going to have to disagree with him here. I think that it's actually maybe who carried through this game.
Yeah, 10-0 and 13 and 24.6k damage, double the amount of damage of any player on the Liquid side. So a very good performance from him, and 33-8 overall from LGD. Probably one of the best wins we've seen over Liquid all season long, and it guarantees them a top 3 spot in this particular tournament. Also guarantees them a shot at winning the title to become the first ever Chinese team to win a major. That's still on the cards as well, and it might just get a boost in the next match as well, because Vici take on Mineski. What odds now for an all-China upper bracket final, which we didn't think was likely when we were talking about the breakout matches earlier this week when we lost 3 out of 3 on the first day. MVP for you gents for this particular match. Let's just wrap up this one.
I think we already said it. Maybe, definitely.
Maybe, definitely.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll go with maybe, definitely. Was the MVP of this particular match. Let's talk DPC points now. They're guaranteed third, which gives them 1,080 points now in the list. That will put them up to 9th, which is okay, but not great. It still leaves them outside that top 8. If they get second, however, if they just reach the final, they will move into 6th place on the DPC ranks. They will have 1,755, which takes them just above VGJ Thunder on the right-hand side of the top rank screen right now. And if they manage to win, they will move all the way up to 4th, ahead of Newbie with 2,265. That's just extra incentive if they needed any more incentive to win the first Chinese major, to win on home soil. You know, there's plenty of incentives there, Cap, isn't there?
Yeah, certainly. I think that knowing that everything can change a lot, this is a very high-pressure season right now with the circuit points, I think, making every team feel like these earlier tournaments leading up to TI. They put more and more focus into it, try and be the best team that they can for every single tournament, that you want to be able to secure those points early. You don't want to think, all right, third is fine, and we'll get the rest of the points later. Don't worry about it, guys. You don't want to be in that situation.
No, absolutely not. This is round number 16. There are 4 majors and 2 more minors to come after this one. So we might have a much clearer idea at the end of this tournament who's where on that particular ball. We'll keep checking in with those DPC points throughout the next 3 days. Let's catch up with our bracket right now and show you where we are. We've got one more match today in terms of the main bracket. We've also got the 1v1 championships to come as well. But as you can see, LGD moving on to the upper bracket final where they will play against Mineski or Vici Gaming. Now, the reason this is really, really important now is because Liquid and Virtus Pro will now be in the lower bracket, which now means, of course, there are some extra points up for grabs because not both of those can make it to the grand final. So there is a massive opportunity here for LGD